welcome back. We're super excited that you came back this week for the 4th session of Essentials to Thrive. And today we're diving deeper into the mind. We're diving into the brain with our Neuroscience Essentials. I am so excited for this session. So excited to have Dr. Michael Mannino with us. Hello.
Hey.
He's going to help us understand our brain. How does it work? How can we leverage it, get the most out of it to perform at our best?
So the brain is a complex system, and this is famously called the glass brain. You can look this up on YouTube. It's from Adam Ghazali's lab, who's also part of the Flow Research Collective as well. This is his brain playing a video game in virtual reality in real time. And they structurally analyzed his brain. Then they put in mathematical models. They collected data from EEG, and this is him literally playing a video game in real time. And you can see all of these different areas, red lighting up green. These are the different brain waves involved in different brain states. Now you fly through the glass brain and you look at all of the neural signals traveling to and fro in these large-scale networks. There's no one organizer in the brain, and this is a really important point, people, my good people. This is a really important point. There's no one organizer like a conductor of an orchestra. These people play these instruments in this certain amount of time, you people play those instruments, you people, and I'm conducting the entire thing. That's organization by design. The brain doesn't work that way. The brain is self-organized. There is no such thing as a real self located anywhere in the brain. I want to talk a little bit about cognitive reserve and brain plasticity, folks. You can see here the brain's ability to change in response to experiences. That's what neuroplasticity is. You are your synapses. Really gets much more difficult as time goes on. The brain is really plastic during youth and then gets less plastic, but still plastic. And even neurogenesis, not neuroplasticity, the reconnections of new neurons, but neurogenesis, the growth and birth of new neurons themselves, can still happen in the adult life in a very few areas of the brain. We're going to get into that in a second. But you can see here the amount of effort such change requires increases. So these two things are inversely proportional. And brain fitness matters. You can see your performance on the y-axis, age on the x-axis, and this is an inverted U curve, right? You can improve performance, and then performance starts to decrease, and you could delay disease by building up a cognitive reserve. It's an inverted U curve, and you could literally flatten this curve, or try to flatten this curve, pun intended. So to get a little bit more into the neuroscience of learning, learning is changing the brain. And so I mentioned the neuromyth at the beginning. They're not different learning styles. Let me tell you a little bit how the brain really learns and what's really important. So optimal learning and optimal performance, in my view, as a neuroscientist, involves these things, some of these things, and I'll talk a little bit about them. Something called metacognition. Metacognition, critical thinking, and eliminating cognitive biases. Metacognition is cognition about cognition. It's thinking about thinking. Thinking about your own thinking and evaluating your own thinking and learning processes with the aim to improve it. And this is people with higher metacognitive abilities has been correlated with greater eudaimonia, greater well-being, better learning, better performance, all of these kinds of things. Don't multitask. As I said, there's no such thing as the multitasking of the brain. You got to be ruthless with your attention and eliminate all distractions and focus on that thing. Developing a growth mindset, or what I like to call a curiosity mindset, is really important. That changes the brain, literally changes the structure and function of the brain, the way the brain is rewired. I'll make one more book recommendation for y'all. This is a book called Zen, if you could see, I hope you can see. This is called Zen Mind, Beginner's Mind. This is by Shunro Suzuki, who was one of the guys like Thich Nhat Hanh to bring Zen Buddhism to the West. And he's talking about Zen Buddhism and enlightenment in this book, but he has this great quote: in the beginner's mind, there are many possibilities. In the experts, there are few. And so this is really about cultivating these skills and keeping an open mind to learn new things. Conscious breathing, which I'll talk about a little bit later, and I already mentioned, the breath is very connected to the brain. And conscious breathing and increasing vagal tone, which I have there as well, changes the way the brain learns and consumes information. Getting into a flow state really facilitates learning, motivation, and creativity. Proper diet, of course, regular exercise, and especially moving in different ways. The brain loves to learn. That's what it was built to do. Jack of all trades, master of none is sort of like a pejorative phrase in the colloquial English, but it's really good when it comes to the brain. When you exercise in different modalities, you do different things to the brain. There's differential structural and functional changes in the brain due to different ways of moving, actually. For example, high-intensity interval training activates affective or emotional networks of the brain, whereas low-intensity, steady state or LISS activates more functional connectivity and divergent thinking and creativity in processes in the brain, and in different parts of the brain as well. Sleep patterns, play, and gratitude have all been shown to have differential effects on the brain, and flow follows focus, as I mentioned.